The Habs win another shootout thriller, but this game came with maybe more questions than answers, as the question arises once again, who's the number one goalie? Jake Allen puts on a phenomenal performance. Yoel Armia scores a goal. Should he stay on the roster? Especially with Christian Dvorak coming back. Who's going to stay up? Who's going to go down? A lot of questions coming out of this game from tonight, but before we get into that, a quick note on Juraj Slafkovsky talking about how Kirby Dach is helping him, and plus, Habs legend Tomas Plekanec calls it a career. A little short look at that, so stick around for all that on this episode of Habs Digest. Let's jump first into this Plekanec retiring. Jesse, it's a sad day. You know, Tomas was such a Habs legend, and we just wanted to take a little moment out of this video to salute him on an amazing career. This is from his age 24 season in 2008. He had a 90 projected WAR, wins above replacement, according to JFresh. Look at that season. 92, 92nd percentile in finishing, 78th in even strength defense. This guy was a staple for the Habs for so long. The epitome of consistency, peaking at 70 points with the Habs. Of course, crossing that 1,000 game threshold in the NHL with the Habs in 2019. And decided to finish off his career in Kladno, playing a bit with Jaromir Jagr, and boy, 40 years old, calls it a career. Just a little quick note on Plekanec's Mr. Turtle Plek himself, Jesse. It's a sad day to see this, but man, what a heck of a career.
Yeah, hanging up the turtleneck, but obviously a really well-deserved retirement, playing till the age of 40 years old. Amazing that, somebody who really loves the game, who, even though his NHL career was over, wanted to just keep playing. And, we're definitely thankful to Tomas Plekanec for all his years as a Habs. He definitely offered us so many great games. We remember him for his speed, and as you point out, that season of 70 points, also a very skilled player, in his time, right? So definitely, we definitely want to thank him for his time.
Yeah, I mean, look, fantastic at finishing 20-goal season, 25-goal seasons while being solid defensively. He was a fast guy too. He did a bit of everything, and I know a lot of Habs fans hold him very dearly in their hearts because not many people play that long with the Habs. We're going to ignore the other team he played for near the end of his career there. But yeah, shout out to you, Plecky. We all appreciate you. Let's move on to the second topic. We got to talk a bit about Slafkovsky, and he speaks out about Kirby Dach because, as a lot of you guys know, and as a lot of you guys are probably sad about, Kirby Dach is still not playing because he's out for the season with his exploded knee. Very, very sad. But he's sticking around the team, and he's helping out the players where he can, and Slav was asked about that. Quote, since he was injured, talking about Kirby, he has tried to help me as best he can. He watches my matches and offers me advice on how to improve, but I hope that in the future we can play together again. And I thought this was really cool, Jesse, because, Kirby Dach's kind of a big guy himself, and he's someone that once he came over to Montreal, he really discovered his physicality, something that a lot of Chicago fans were kind of crapping on him before. Like, he's not physical enough. He doesn't really know how to be in the right place at the right time. He's playing with Kane and not producing points. How many of those things have we also heard similarly about Slav, right? Like, a lot of people complaining, oh, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that, whatever. But Kirby is someone who figured it out, and it took him a number of years, right? Going from highly touted prospect to maybe disappointing in Chicago to coming to Montreal and being arguably their center of the future. So to hear that he's helping out Juraj Slafkovsky, I feel like there's maybe no better player on the team to give Juraj some advice.
That's so true, Josh, because like you mentioned, there are some parallels, between these players, both picked, very high in the first round, big guys, a little bit of injury troubles early in their career. So I think it's great that Juraj Slafkovsky, would model himself after Kirby Dach and get some advice. It's great for Kirby to kind of contribute in any type of way. And I think, if Juraj could end up becoming like a Kirby Dach type of player of like what Kirby Dach could kind of end up being, I think that would be great, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of similarities in both of ways, and you got to feel like they're really looking forward to playing with each other. I think, Kirby Dach would definitely help Slav's game quite a bit, and I'm looking forward to that possibly being a really big duo for us in the future.
Yeah, and they have so many similarities, but they're also very different. Like their styles of offense are very different. Juraj Slafkovsky plays with more of a power forward style, like we saw in the Olympics, right? Where he just kind of cuts towards the net and he has a heck of a shot on him. While Kirby Dach is a little bit more of a finesse player. While he's not afraid to use his body, at least now, he's more of a guy who looks to set up his teammates and create offense, especially when he's playing that center position where he can kind of coordinate the guys around him. And that's not something Slav necessarily excels at. But Jesse, there's a world where Kirby teaches Slav a bit of his playmaking, but like you said, when these guys play together, Kirby's setting up some Slav one-timers and little cross-crease passes and stuff. I feel like that would just be maybe the perfect fit.
It would be so much, because what's so nice about both of them is they both, like you said, with Kirby Dach, like he's a good playmaker as we've seen. But I think Slaf, that's a big part of his game that's going to come out even more. Like we see his ability to make great passes and to become even more that playmaker. So again, a really great player to kind of fashion himself off of.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, it's time to move on to the game. Yeah, I mean, this was another heck of a game. I'm just gonna open this by saying it was a bit of deja vu, right? We played Columbus, very similar color scheme to the Winnipeg Jets just a couple days ago. The Habs had a really, really bad first period, but somehow came out kind of unscathed. They went 3-1 down in the second period before coming back and making it 3-3 and then going into overtime, except this time the Habs had to end it in a shootout instead of a Caufield overtime winner. But yeah, I mean, it just felt so similar, Jesse, but this was a fun game. We're going to toss up the box score for you guys. Feel free to pause if you want, but Justin Barron, I mean, scoring early really set the tone. Now, of course, the Jets had those 2 quick goals, both within the first 30 seconds of the second period to put the Habs down 3-1. But Yoel Armia and Sean Monahan coming in clutch. Monahan with that beautiful Suzuki feed out in front to him with the dangle to the backhand, caught everyone, including me, off guard, and then Armia on that rush with Cayden Guhle. I thought it was a game where we showed a lot of heart again, Jesse, and to me, that's just something that is really, really valuable, especially for a young team like this.
Yeah, it was such a fun game to watch. And I think what's really impressive about this game is that Winnipeg, they played well. They got a lot of shots on Jake Allen, obviously played amazing, but the fact that we were able to still beat a team like the Winnipeg Jets, come into this game on a 3-game win streak, like they played a good game of hockey and we still beat them, you know what? And we deserve to win.
Mm-hmm.
We came back from that 2-goal deficit, again, showing why that's the worst league in hockey, showing a lot of resiliency, which for me is just absolutely amazing to see. But I see why we're getting these wins. Like you mentioned that power play goal for Monahan. It's like, we're doing pretty good so far in that category, which is really big for us. This wasn't happening last year, but right now we're ticking at, last time I checked, at a 20.7%, on our power play for a very respectable 12th in the NHL, in terms of power play efficiency, right? So getting another one tonight, that's a big key to our victory. Obviously, Barron kind of stepping up again, playing on that first pairing, no less, and still playing well. But like you look at it, the good 5v5 play, then you look at, for the majority of the time, we're doing really good on the faceoffs. And then kind of getting that good efficiency, having a good power play, like for sure that's going to translate into wins. And I think that's a big reason of why we're having this good record early on this season and kind of our keys that we need to hold on to for success in this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing point, and you're very right. Like, these wins are helping learn what works, what doesn't work for the Montreal Canadiens. Now, stats show that young teams tend to start the season faster than the more grizzled veteran older teams. And like we saw last year, Montreal started hot, but fell off a little bit in December. Could we see something similar? I hope not. But we got to get into what we kind of teased at the start of the video. There's a lot of questions that came out of this game. When you get a win like this, you're like, oh man, we're rolling. We don't want to change anything. But you might have to at some point, because now there's so many question marks. We gave Cayden Primeau a start. He's still not waiver exempt, and he's eating up a roster spot. But Jake Allen, so far, I mean, look, we've seen Allen go through hot and cold streaks for sure. But right now, Jake Allen seems like the number one. And I don't think there's any question. This dude's putting up crazy stats again tonight. 42 saves on 45 shots for a .933. This dude is crazy. He is playing so phenomenally well. Monty is still very solid as well. We got a lot of questions in net. Is one of them going to get traded? I don't know, because Jake Allen is the least tradable and is playing the best. It's so weird. But also at forward, right? We have Christian Dvorak coming back soon. If you guys didn't know, he's in a full contact jersey at practice. So he's very nearing a return. I think we heard November, and we're almost in November. So Dvorak is almost back. And we currently have Armia, who slotted in for Jesse Poirier tonight. And Armia scored a goal, and let's be honest, he looked pretty good. I don't know, Jesse. I feel like I'm getting a little like stressed about like what decisions are they going to make, because when you're rolling like this, to me, it just seems so hard to actually make a big roster decision, because you don't want to kill that momentum.
That's such a good point. You got to definitely be careful about that. But that's it. Like, who's our number one now? Like, I don't know. Is it Jake Allen? Like, you kind of have to feel so. Like, he was absolutely phenomenal tonight. Like, he was unreal. Like, how hard is the NHL when you're letting in 3 goals, but you're still playing that well? Like, that just shows how difficult the NHL is, right? But again, it raises question, Armia coming up, like, this is big for us when these depth guys kind of can come in and then can contribute. We know he always gets big games against his former team in the Jets, but again, there's some other questions, like with Monahan playing so well. And I'm curious to hear, from the Habs Digest community, it's like, do you think, like, should we keep him? And you yourself, Josh, I'm curious for your opinion. Like, do you think that we should keep Monahan like on the third line? Or do you think that like because he's playing so well, like isn't he looking like a first line type of player
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now? Right? Like what's your thoughts on this right now?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Look, Pearson got 5 points. Galley does only have 3 through 8 games, but at the same time, Galley has looked better than he has the last year or two. I think if that's working, you got to keep it going because I think, look, Monahan's going to put up his points regardless, and a lot of these come on the power play, right? And he's still going to be on that first power play. But if he's able to continually elevate these veterans in Pearson and Gallagher who have not had great seasons in the past 3-4 years, if he's able to elevate them to a decent level, you don't want to change that. The extra boost I think he might give the first line is negligible compared to the value that he might provide to lifting guys up who you were maybe expecting to be here, but Monahan lifts him up to here. To me, I feel like that is maybe more valuable for the Habs right now.
Don't change it because we're having success. And
Exactly.
the reason why we're having that success again is because Sean Monahan, that caliber of player playing on that third line, is more often than not, of course, if he's healthy, like he's going to shine. If he's a healthy player, Sean Monahan, he's going to put up points. He's basically a point per game player so far in the season. And that's what's amazing about him. Like we can count on that, so the big thing is just going to be about him. We know that he's such a warrior, right?
Mm-hmm.
That he battles through injuries. It's just going to be to mitigate that. If there's any small things, just take out the smaller, sit out a little game if you have to here and there. We need him in for the long haul because he is so clutch to this team. And I absolutely think, it's right. Like if we're winning, if we're showing this resiliency, being able to come back, we want to keep with what we're doing so far.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of positives. I mean, I'm gonna pop this up for one more time. We're kind of running out of time in the video, but just wanted to mention a couple other names. I thought Jake Evans had another decent game. On defense, the defense. Before we go, we got to talk about the defense. That's the last thing we got to talk about. Holy crap! This looked like a completely different team. I don't know if it's just adding Guhle back or what. Matheson also only played 16 minutes. I hope he's not like injured or something. I don't know the exact reason he played. Like Kovacevic played 23 minutes anyway. But holy crap, man! The ability of the defense to shut down a lot of Winnipeg rushes, like with them coming into the zone, a little poke by Guhle or someone else being in the right position to stop a pass across, not even to stop the pass, but just to neutralize the offense and make them second guess themselves. Like I haven't seen them do this. Like it felt like a new defense tonight to me.
Yeah, and even though we let a lot of shots on net, I really liked our defensive zone
Mm-hmm.
coverage. At times, it's like we knew when, like we had really good positioning, but then also knew when to be aggressive as well. I found that extremely encouraging. Not only are we getting the goals, but then sometimes those good look defensive zone covering. You mentioned Cayden Guhle having a very good stick, breaking up some really nice plays, like basically probably saving, at least a goal tonight just by his stick there, having an active stick. And he was skating tonight. That's what I like from Cayden Guhle is like he's fast. Like
Yeah.
this guy can really skate. He looked really good in the overtime when you give him some open ice. I'm looking forward to seeing Cayden Guhle out there more. That could be a really nice 1-2 punch of having Matheson out with 2 forwards or having Guhle out with 2 forwards. Like those are 2 guys that can really, really skate. So amazing to see Guhle back in the lineup and really contributing tonight.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Guhle, don't forget, he had the highest max speed, like top speed of any Habs player last year. I think he was top 5 or even top 10 in the NHL. I think he had a higher top speed than McDavid or something last year. People don't realize Guhle is one of the fastest players in the NHL. It's really crazy, but yeah, he is. When he gets going, he gets going, and this dude can skate with the best of them, and it's really fun to see. But yeah, what a fun game. I mean, there's probably stuff we missed. If there's something we missed, let us know down in the comments down below. If you're still watching almost 14 minutes in, hey, props to you. We really appreciate you. And hey, it's a nice transition into the end of the video. And if you enjoyed, subscribe, because if you're still watching, you should subscribe, because I don't really need to explain why. You clearly enjoy watching, and we enjoy having you. I'm Josh Gosse for my co-host Jesse Poirier. We'll catch you in the next one.